Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Creating Lasting Change. And I am really excited today to bring on somebody who talks and addresses to new coaches. I got to tell you, I wish this or I had known about this when I was a new coach because there's so many pitfalls that we hit that could have been avoided. So I want to welcome Ruth. Let me introduce her, and then we're going to dive right into this conversation, the mistakes new coaches can avoid, because there's so much out there that we do not realize. And some of the stuff we probably don't even need to be doing.
Yeah,
So Ruth is a seasoned business coach specializing in helping new coaches transform their skills, experience, and knowledge into compelling offers that attract eager clients. Known for a practical and results-oriented approach, Ruth equips coaches with the tools they need to confidently price their services, leverage social media for growth, and avoid common pitfalls in the coaching business. Welcome, Ruth. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm excited to get this conversation out to new coaches.
me too. Thank you, Tricia, for having me here.
I'm so excited. So let's delve into some of these pitfalls that potentially could be avoided and some of the things that they really need to do
Mm,
instead of all these other things that they've been told they have to do.
yeah, cool. Yeah, one of the biggest things that I see, even with my client and even just like going into Facebook groups, is people focusing on all the wrong things. And I'm going to share some of what those wrong things are. And when I say wrong, it's not like those things are actually wrong, but it is just that we always have to be aware of what stage our businesses are in. Otherwise, we might be doing things that isn't quite right for the stage where we are at. So for example, a very common one is people just obsessing about their website. They go on, like, spend so much time creating this pretty website when they haven't even validated what their niche is, what their offer is. They don't have all this data to go ahead to build their website, and they're just like, putting in all that time into the logo, the name, the colors, like all that stuff. And whilst that's great, like, having one is actually good. But, for my clients, I just tell them that, you know what, we're not doing websites, because I feel like it's something that people use to avoid doing the real work. And that real work is putting yourself out there, connecting with people, speaking to people, getting to understand your niche, being willing to hear the no's, right? Being willing for people to criticize you, to judge you. That's the real work. But when we're putting all this time into the website, it feels as if we're actually working, but it's really just busy work. And we're not really addressing the core things that needs to be done. So
And I'm
that's
going
one of
to
the big ones.
raise my hand because
Yeah,
back in 2009, 2010,
yeah.
when I started on this entrepreneurial journey, what was the first thing I was told to do? Build the website, they'll come. Build the website, they'll come. And I
Mhm.
spent an enormous amount of time, an enormous amount of money on a website, and nobody came. There was a lot of pieces that were left out of that. Like, you know, what were my strengths? What did I actually want to do? Were my services out in the marketplace? Like there was no research, there was nothing. So I definitely and I spent so much money on a website and had
Yeah,
it for years. And I got to tell you, I got rid of it
yeah.
2017. I dumped everything. I'm like, I'm done. And I just maybe February of this year got it up again.
Mm. Yeah, and I think that the thing as well that people don't realize when they haven't really validated what they're really doing, because when you're first starting out, the honest truth is that many people don't know what they're actually doing. We don't have that, clarity about our niche, about our message, about, all the core things that builds a profitable coaching business. So when you go ahead to build this website, the only people who are going to be visiting the website are your is probably your mom or your auntie Jane or your sister. And and the reason why is because people don't know, like people don't just automatically just find websites, right? So yeah, so definitely for me, like in my world, it is a no-no. And some people actually struggle with it. I've got clients that are just like, you know what, I must have this website. And I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. Go and spend like 2 or 3 days, and that's it. Like once those 2 or 3 days are done, no
Mhm.
more website. Just hit the publish button. At least you have satisfied that quest to have one. So just go ahead and just do it, but no more than 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, we spend an enormous amount of time trying to make it perfect and
Yeah,
pretty and colors and fonts and
yeah.
oh good God, I remember. And that was not fun. It was not fun because all of the other things, the real things that we should have been doing, that I should have been doing, let's be real, I should have been doing, I wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
I was not. What are some of the other big no-nos that gurus are said, go do this, go do that, and this is the way that it's supposed to be?
Yeah, the other thing as well, and I don't know if it's a guru saying this or people just feeling that they need to be on every social media platform. Like I've got some of my clients and they're like, oh, should I, I need to be on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, like they want to be everywhere. And whilst that sounds really good, right? It sounds good to be everywhere. But the reality is that when you're just starting out, if you don't have like a dedicated team to actually manage all those all those platforms for you, then what's going to happen is that you're not really going to be able to be really active and to be really known in one place. And even if you tried, it's like just being scattered like everywhere. So what I always recommend to my clients is that just take one, just use one, master that one, and then once you start getting clients and you get money coming in, then you can start to think about maybe adding another one and then master it. And then you can then think of like having a team, having a VA to help you manage, any other ones that you want to join. So trying to be visible is great, but when you're just starting out, you don't want to be like visible everywhere. Even though it sounds good, it sounds really good, right? But it's just another thing that's gonna burn you out, and where you won't be able to really have your impact to be known in one place because you're trying to satisfy all these other places.
And that's true because God, through the years, I've depleted my energy and my time trying to be known
Mhm.
and be on Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads, Facebook groups. I mean, there is so much that it is insane. I had accounts all over the place and literally I was exhausted doing it. I deleted Clubhouse. I just started deleting things because I'm like, first off, if I don't like it and if I don't feel comfortable there, I don't want to be there because the only thing it does is deplete my time, it depletes my energy, and I'm not fully present for the place that I'm really active on. And for me, I'm very active on Facebook and in a handful of groups.
Yes. I love that you said handful, because that's another thing. You could be active in one platform such as Facebook and try to be like in 50 different groups, and that does not work either. it's very difficult to establish your presence in like 50 different groups all at once. So I really love that you said that you're just in a handful of groups. And that's what I do as well. I'm just probably like active in like 2 groups, and that's basically it. And I always tell my clients to, don't try to be everywhere on Facebook either.
Yeah.
Just pick 1 or 2 groups and show up there. Go in there, answer questions, connect with people, start to make yourself a valuable resource in that group so that when they talk about your topic, what people think about is you,
Mm.
because you have been showing up there. You've been answering questions. You've been supporting people, and you've been connecting with people in that group. And as you start to do that, people start to know you for the work that you do.
And I want to emphasize what you said.
Mm,
Connect,
yeah.
connect. Too many people don't attempt to connect. And sometimes you need it and sometimes you don't, depending on your business. But even let's say you don't, like, for me, collaboration is huge. Connecting with people to collaborate with, to actually um, create services, offers, whatever. Collaboration is a really big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing as well is just adding to what you have just shared, is that when you're connecting with people, sometimes people come with it with the wrong mindset. Like,
Mm.
it's they like all they're thinking about is just signing a client, but they forget that it's not every connection that has to be a client. It could be someone that you could collaborate with, or
Mhm.
someone that might know someone who needs what you have.
Yeah.
So that connection isn't just about, oh, I've got to get clients. It's so much more.
Connection is, I love how you said the right mindset, because it is a, what can you do for me when you're going into a collaboration or into something with what can you do for me? It's a one and done. It's not a how can we work together? With the collaboration is I rise, you rise. It's we all rise together. It is such a different mindset. And it really would love for you to even actually go in deeper to mindset, because that is one of the biggest things that new coaches have to pay attention to as well, because we do hit a lot of bumps.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the biggest ones that not only new coaches, I think every coach faces this, is the fear of failure, the fear of putting in so much effort into something and that thing not working. And the way, the way I personally get over this is, um, I try to see it as, number one, failure. Well, failure in quotes for me is basically just learning something new, something that I could change the next time I go after this thing. And the other thing as well is being willing to feel all the emotions that comes along with failure, with when things do not work out. And because people don't want to have those feelings, they would rather avoid it and not do the things that will put them in that situation where they might get to experience failure, disappointment, and all those negative feelings that we typically don't want to feel. So, you know, when we are able to feel anything, then we will be able to take any action. And that's what that's what I, coach my clients on, that really helps them to really start taking action, start taking those scary actions that could mean that people, criticize them or judge them. Maybe they put it out on Facebook that, hey, I am a coach, I can help you do X, Y, Z. And then their friend or their family member sees it and is like, who are you? Who do you think you are saying that you can do all these things, right? That's something that a lot of new coaches face. And I personally faced that a lot when I got started. I found it so hard to actually share what I was doing to help my clients, because I felt like, oh, if that auntie, if that friend, if that co-worker sees this, they're gonna think that I'm just lying now. Who does she think she is? She does like, because like our family and friends, they know us so well. They've seen all our failures, right? They've seen all the things that didn't work out. So, when we are now stepping into a different version of ourselves,
Mhm.
it's very easy to be really fearful of what are they going to think about me, because they have all the background information about you. So it's really about being willing to feel that, okay, yes, so what if they see this post, right? Am I willing to feel whatever I'm going to feel? And if you're willing to feel that, then you have the courage to actually just keep going. So that's one of the big mindset pieces that I think a lot of coaches, and not only new coaches,
Mhm.
face. Just that fear of things not working out, that fear of failure, the fear of being criticized, the fear of being judged.
Yeah, not so. Well, first off, I want to emphasize another point was mistakes. They're just experiences, or, failures. Again, they're just experiences, and say, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to try it this way. So it's just redirecting your efforts and your times to something else, trying something new, doing something new, because you're not trying, you're actually doing it. And then
Mm.
the other piece is being courageous enough to be out there to post without worrying about your mom, your aunt, your friend, because the reality is, if this is your business, you want it to be successful. And their opinion, as much as you might care about it, doesn't really matter. And 90% of the time, what we think they're thinking, they're not thinking at all.
Absolutely. That is so, so true. I think people are naturally like selfish. They're only thinking about themselves. They haven't got time to like think about you.
They're not worried about, oh, you're doing this or that. And if they comment, it's not build yourself up so
Yeah.
that it does not affect you, because that's really, really important, is
Mhm.
allowing people their thoughts and opinions and having yours, and just moving
Yeah.
on from it. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing as well that I would like to add is that when you start to see your business as an ex experiment,
Uh,
then it just takes off all that pressure. And I like to liken it to like a scientist in their lab. They're like just trying out different things. If this works, great. They'll just go ahead with it. If it doesn't work, then they'll just probably just change a few chemicals or whatever, and then try again.
yeah.
So when we have that mindset that, okay, I'm just gonna do this, I'll put out that post or that video. If it gets likes and comments, okay, great. If it doesn't, I'm gonna look at it and see, okay, what can I change about it? How can I make it better? Maybe it's what I said, maybe it's how I said what I said. Maybe it was the timing, right? And then mix it up and then go again and again and again until it works.
Yeah. And that's so true, because be ready to pivot.
Mm.
Be ready to pivot. I mean, because sometimes what we hold on to so tightly is not really the direction we're going to pivot. So throughout our entrepreneurial journey, it is, first off, it is an adventure.
Mhm.
It is an adventure. So going into without this tightness of holding on to something and saying, all right, will this work? I'm going to put this out, I'm going to put that out. But at the
Mm.
same time, what are your thoughts on how long should somebody continuously put something out before they shift and change it?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing is basically what you've already kind of like mentioned, is always being ready to like review things. Whenever you do anything, review it, see what is working, see what is not working, make some tweaks, and then go again, and then go through that cycle over and over.
Mhm.
Now, I think too many people kind of like give up on maybe a strategy or even their niche at the slightest obstacle. They're like, oh, I tried this for like 1 week and it didn't work. And they're like, oh, maybe my niche is a problem. I've got to change my niche. Oh, maybe it's the strategy that isn't working, so maybe I have to change it, right? And they haven't even gone back to to look at the whole thing thoroughly and look at what exactly did not work. When we categorize everything and say it didn't work,
Mhm.
then it's basically like just throwing everything all out.
Mhm.
But there might be something that's already working, that is working, and there might be a few things that aren't working. So when you review it, you're able to identify like that specific thing that isn't working, and you're able to make changes to it. Now, that being said, right, you go through that cycle over and over again and again. And when it comes to like a time frame, I tell my clients that go at this for at least six months. If you have a niche, right, if or any strategy that you're implementing,
Mhm.
go at it relentlessly, and that's the key word, relentlessly for 6 months,
Yeah.
like even minimum, right? And what that means is that you're going through that cycle of looking at what isn't working, what did work, making tweaks, and going again.
Mhm.
It is not about just going through the 6 months, implementing the same thing and not making any changes. And then at the end of 6 months, you're like, it didn't work. Of course, it is not going to work because you haven't gone through the cycle. You've got to always, at every point, look at what's working, what's not working, make changes, and then tweak and then go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And one thing I would love for you to address,
yeah.
how many times should they be posting? People throw something up once a day or once every other day, and you're like, nobody's responding to it. Mhm.
Yeah. That is such a great question. And for me personally, I believe in quality.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I also don't want to like overstress quality where people are like, oh, this has to be perfect, right? So what I mean by quality is making sure that whatever you are posting out there is content that your ideal clients will resonate with, content that is when you think about it from this standpoint that if you were in your ideal client's shoes, what would they want to hear? What are they thinking about? What are they Googling? What are they speaking to their friend about when they get on the phone and they're ranting to their friends? What are they talking about? Right. So those are the kind of things that you want to be posting. And when it comes to like to like frequency, I don't really like have any like set guideline, like it has to be like once every day or 3 times every day. If you're just getting started, I would say, you should aim for at least once a day, right? And if you cannot do once a day, come up with a frequency that works for you, that you can commit to,
Mhm.
because you don't want to like set yourself this rule that you cannot even stick to, right?
Mhm.
So I always suggest that come up with what works for you, something that you can be consistent with. If it's once a day, that's great. Make sure that you're showing up every day. If it's once every other day, stick to that. Don't be the person that like posts this week and then for the next 3 weeks, you are gone until you're ready to like get a client, then you suddenly start posting. You've got to build up the footprint. People have to, know you. They have to see you. They have to know what you're all about for them to start to develop that trust. And the other thing as well is that when you're posting, it is not even, and even if you are not even getting likes, right? One of the things to be aware of is that, many times people that actually buy don't even like posts because, and what I found is that sometimes the content is too triggering for them to even like, but they're watching, they're seeing it. Like I've had clients just like come out of nowhere and just say, oh, and just and just DM me that they're ready to like start. Can we get on a call? People that have never liked anything, never commented. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that once you start putting yourself out there, don't get carried away by the likes and the comments. Some people have hundreds of likes, but no clients. They
Mm-hmm.
have tons of comments, but no clients.
Yeah. And I really want to pinpoint because my content, I'm putting content out daily, and
Mm.
I'm having people DM me that have not ever liked or commented on my posts, or they're reaching out to me because they really like what I'm talking about and want to collaborate in some way. So,
Mm.
and it's interesting because I'm like, wow, I'm like, I have not seen you comment, but at this point, I'm like, it's the truth. Some people just don't want to comment on your posts, but they're watching you.
Yeah,
So being consistent for me has been really important. And I know people watch. They absolutely are watching what you put out. So I'm so glad you put metrics is not the answer. So I'm so glad you commented and talked about that because so many people like nobody liked, nobody commented, you
yeah,
know, but people are watching. People are 100% watching.
absolutely.
What other things would you say are important to do for new coaches? What's one other really good thing that they could be doing right now?
Yeah, so the most important thing is identifying the problem that you solve, your niche, the people that you help. And the reason why is because it would really help you to have a lot of clarity on the content that you're putting out there. It would help you to be able to really speak to your ideal clients when you understand what that problem is that you're solving and who you are solving it for.
Mhm.
Now, I know for a lot of new coaches, one of the biggest things that they struggle with is the whole niche thing. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, what's my niche? Is it this? Is it that? Right? The other thing that a lot of them struggle with is like, is this thought about wanting to like help everybody and not wanting to leave everybody out.
Mhm.
And I know that's definitely coming from a very good place.
Mhm.
However, when it comes to like marketing purposes for it's really difficult to be able to start making the impact that you want to make to really start getting known when you are trying to help everybody.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody had like a heart problem, they would go to a what are they called now? Cardiologist,
Uh-huh.
right? They wouldn't just go to like a general doctor. They would go to somebody who specializes in that heart heart problem
Yeah.
because they have the trust that this person has developed their expertise over the years and knows what they're doing. But the general doctor, even though they might have some knowledge about the heart, right? They don't have that like people wouldn't really trust that they have that in-depth knowledge because they treat everything. They can give advice on everything, right? So I'm saying that to say that it's so important, right, to identify your niche at the start, and that way you start becoming known for that thing. And that doesn't mean that you're gonna alienate people. It just means that you're more targeted in your marketing, and even people that are outside of that niche, right? Some people would even resonate with you, and because what you're sharing speaks to them at some level. Now, when those people come to you, it doesn't mean that you can't help them. It just means that you're not marketing to them, but they still resonate with it and you can still help them.
Mhm.
As an example, right, my niche is new coaches, but I've had clients that are on 10K a month come to me. And it's not because it's actually really because what I was sharing at that particular time spoke to them. And they're like, oh, this person can actually help me. And they reached out. Now, I'm not marketing to like 10K coaches. I'm marketing to new coaches. And all my marketing is targeted to new coaches. But
Mhm.
people outside of that still show up once in a while. And I don't turn them down. So you can you can still help everybody, but you can't market to everybody. It's going
Yeah.
to be a very hard slog to get clients when you're marketing to everybody.
And that's a great distinction because when you try to please everybody, when you try to engage everybody, then your message gets kind of muddy because people then
Yeah.
don't realize who it's really for. And it doesn't matter. You can, like you said, I market to growing and scaling entrepreneurs. And yet I've had people who do not have a business reach out to me, but one of my fundamental things is they have to be in personal growth. You have to have some type of personal growth. So I know we're about that time, but I really want to ask you one more question. Can you, in a couple of minutes, do like break down niche a bit? Because so many people have so many ideas what it really means. So what does it mean to niche down your market?
Yeah. So then your niche basically, and thank you for asking that question because it's a very common one. People are so confused. And
Mhm.
I think people have different ways of how they talk about it. Now, the way I talk about a niche, it's basically the problem that you solve plus who you solve it for. So when you're clear about that, what's that problem that you're very good at solving? And then who are you solving it for? When you pair those, then that is the niche that you want to be marketing to. So that's my very simple way of breaking it down.
Thank you, because I have myself have people coming to me as well as when I've looked at marketing and next thing they're like, well, what's your demographic? How old are they? Are they a woman? Are they a
Oh,
man? And I'm like, oh my God, this is exhausting.
yeah.
Exhausting. But you really put it so plainly. It's what is your problem you solve and who are you solving it for? It doesn't have to be a man or a woman or, unless of course you will have a specificity, then that's something else. But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter age, it's like all of these other pieces that people are like, you have to know this. Where do they hang out? What magazines do they read? It's like, really? What? So for me,
How many
it,
kids have they got? How old are their kids?
yes,
What TV programs do they watch? I did
yes.
all of that, and it's exhausting, and it's really difficult to like find people who tick all those boxes. And when you simplify it down to what's the problem, and then who are you solving it for, I think it just makes it so simple.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please let everybody know where they can reach you at.
Yes, so you can reach me on my Facebook page, Ruth Alade. That's Alade. Yeah, that's a great place to reach me at. And I'm also on Instagram as well. Same name, Ruth Alade, Alade. I also have a free PDF that I think Tricia is probably going to link it somewhere.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll
yeah,
link all of this underneath the call. So if
perfect.
you guys
Yeah,
want to reach out to her, you could just click the links as well.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add that PDF is all about how to create a powerful offer that people are eager to buy, and it really walks you through the whole process step by step. So if you're still struggling like with your niche, or you're still struggling with like who do I help, what's my offer, what should be in it, and all the kind of stuff, this PDF walks you through it step by step.
Mhm. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ruth. And
Thank
guys, the links will be underneath this call that you can just click on and reach out to her. I hope you have a lovely Tuesday and enjoy. And thank you for joining another episode of Creating Lasting Change, because as we build our foundations, we do create our lasting change.
thank you.
Bye.